Hello everyone, I'm Dead Knight and this is In It to Win It. Today we're going to be talking about the Forged in the Barrens card set, which is the first expansion in the Year of the Griffin. And we're going to go over what I think are the best card, the worst card, and the card that we need to devote some discussion time to. First, we're going to ask you to please hit the subscribe button below and make sure you get yourself keyed into any updates and new videos that we put out on this channel. Anyway, let's get right to the best card, which is going to be, in my opinion, Xyrella. She is a 4/4 for 4, and for a battle cry, which however much health you healed this turn, you are going to deal that much damage to all enemy minions. So this card is an absolute unit. There are so many different ways for you to play this card early and just devastate your opponent's board. So the first one that comes to mind is another card in the expansion called Desperate Prayer, which for 0 mana is going to restore 5 health to your hero. So if you are getting crushed in the early game, you play that card for 0, and turn 4 you drop Xyrella and 5 damage to all of your opponent's minions, and that's pretty much game over. Some more reasonable ways to use this card would be if you had Renew to just restore 3 health, discover a card, and then use this guy to blow up your opponent's board. It also can just be use a hero power to heal one of your own minions or heal your opponent. And then you can play this guy and deal 2 damage to all your opponent's minions. So it's any amount of health you restore to anything is going to get you to trigger that battle cry. So there are so many different ways that you can restore health to something on your turn. Many of them are not too expensive. So in almost all situations, you're going to be able to restore some health, drop Xyrella, blow up your opponent's board, and have a 4/4 on top to show for it. So absolutely destructive card. It's a meta-defining card for priests, in my opinion. It enables the control bill to recover previously unwinnable board by dealing tons of damage to all your opponent's minions early in the game, or it is a potential way to top off a tempo priest by just getting a pretty much uncontestable tempo while continuing to grow your board. Just a huge card. We're going to see a lot of this in the future, I think. As far as the worst card, again, an easy choice for me in Soothsayer's Caravan. So any of you who've seen my previous videos have had lots of time to watch me hate on these Caravan cards, and I think Soothsayer's Caravan is probably the worst of them all. So this is going to copy a spell from your opponent's deck and add it to your hand, and it is a 1/3 for 2 mana. So the problem with the 1/3 for 2s that adds cards to your hand on the start of your turn is that it may not ever be alive at the start of your turn because of its poor stat line. Other players are going to be able to use early spells to remove this guy on their next turn, or they're going to be able to use minions that are already on the board that this guy has no effect on to just roll right over this guy and have him not be alive on your next turn. The other problem is that even if this guy does survive and you copy a spell from your opponent's deck and add it to your hand, that overall is just not that great. There's already cards that have done this, like Psionic Probe, which unconditionally does this for 1 mana and is already a spell. So you could have been using Psionic Probe to trigger some spell casting things, and even then, Psionic Probe wasn't used. So this guy, I think, is just totally useless, and I don't really see him getting any action at all. What about cards that are worth the discussion? For me, it is Condemn. This is a really cool design card. Condemn is a ranked spell that costs 2 mana. Rank 1 is going to deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Rank 2 is 2 damage to all enemy minions, and rank 3 is 3 damage to all enemy minions. So what does that look like for us? So you've got rank 1 is a lot like Holy Ripple. Rank 2 is a lot like Holy Nova or Breath of the Infinite, and rank 3 is a lot like Excavated Evil. All 4 of those cards saw play. This is always going to be 2 mana, whereas the other cards are a little more expensive at 3, 4, or 5 respectively. So The issue with this is you don't get to pick which one it is. So if it is turn 3 and you really wish you could deal 2 damage to all minions, you're still only going to do 1. So that is a definite downside. But the upside is it is always going to be 2 mana to deal damage to every minion on your opponent's board. So it is really flexible. It grows in a useful way as the game goes on. So I would expect to see this as an early board clear for Priest, and a way to inexpensively deal lots of damage to your opponent's board in the mid and late game to follow up with some of your other useful minions and spells. I think Condemn's going to see a lot of action. It's, in my opinion, probably the best of the ranked spells, maybe the second best, but it's very useful. It can come through in a lot of situations, and being able to save that extra mana toward the end of the game for better plays and not have to devote your turn to clearing your opponent's board is a huge upside. So if you have 10 mana crystals, 2 damage, or 2 mana to deal 3 damage to your whole opponent's whole board, and then still have 8 mana to play some great cards on your own board, that's a pretty big advantage, and I think that people will make use of it. And how do you think that people are going to use the Forge and the Barrens Priest cards this year? Please leave a respectful comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, and tune in next time.